On episode 60 of the Holo Chronicles podcast, we're going over the top 3 selections from the next installment of Mando Monday. We'll be going over a poll given out earlier today, some Razor Crest reactions, and a Show Me Your Collection with some pretty sweet figures, all with our buddy Scotty Jayro. Josh, you may fire when ready. What up, everybody?
What's
Josh?
happening? Welcome to the Holo Chronicles. Andrew.
Yes.
Dude.
Yes. What's happening?
How are you doing over there?
Well, it's been an up and down weekend, and I'm talking about the Mandalorian. Life, whatever is happening in life, but we are talking Mando Monday. What is this, the 6th or 7th installment?
It says it right below your face, 7th.
Week 7 of the Mando Mondays. And I don't know about you, Josh, but I feel like we came out pretty hard out the gate, and then it just has been less spectacular every week. Now,
I think I'll coin the phrase right now. Okay. We are now into the part where of these Mondays that we would probably have to call a Blando Mondays. Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, Joshua. Oh, George.
Oh, George. All right. That's
call
a callback
back to the original followers of the Holo Chronicles.
That's right.
Speaking of the Holo Chronicles,
you know what that means.
We are part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network, where you can get Star Wars content nearly every day of the week by going to our website at www.beyondtheblastdoors.com. You can find us on YouTube, as you guys have already found us here, but those listening on iTunes, you can also find us on YouTube at beyondtheblastdoors.com. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the Holo Chronicles. And you could even, if you are so inclined, if you enjoy regular Monday entertainment and Star Wars merchandise news, you can become a patron for just one cheeseburger a month.
One cheeseburger.
Or more if you so choose. Yeah. But Josh, we have a very fun guest, as a buddy of ours now for a little while. Why don't you bring him in?
I'm going to bring him in. The ultimate fanboy, the best on-screen crier you will ever find in your life. Yes. Mr. Scotty Jayro. I always say it wrong. Scotty!
Howdy, boyos. What's going on?
Oh, Scotty, you look so good. You look good, man.
Thank you for joining us today, Scotty. We've talked about having you on for a little bit now, and I'm glad it worked out that you could partake in a little bit of Holo Chronicles. We've done things together before, you and Jerry and us and in collaboration type things, but you're going to go solo today with us. Are you ready to talk some Mando merch?
Of course, especially with the Josh Meister, for anyone that knows the reference.
Especially the Josh Meister. Jared, the Dark Jedi. Out of the gate, throwing up a little super chat. Thank you so much.
Jared's throwing money out to keep weapons out of your hand, Scotty. I think that's a fair, no problem. Jared, we will use that money for manacles or whatever we call those. Child cuffs. Scotty can fit into child cuffs. We know that.
I've tried.
Thumb cuffs.
Thumb cuffs. Yeah. All right.
That might come in handy for your bachelor party there, buddy.
Hey, you know a thing or two. You know a thing or two.
If it happens, it happens.
Oh, come on.
We should real quickly tip our caps to those in the chat. Thank you, Jared, for dropping a little Abraham Lincoln our way, which ironically is the cost of a cheeseburger.
It really is.
We've got Nick in there. We've got the Shabby Mark. We've got Gilster, David's there, Rez, Matt, Bubba,
ARS,
Michael. I mean, we've got a great crew with us already here. It's just, we do it for you guys, man. So, Josh, let's get right into our top 3 from week 7's Mando Monday Mania.
It's actually top 4.
Okay.
It's kind of like top 2, but one of those has 3 items. So we could say top 4. We'll say top 4. I'm going to actually leave the number 1 for last, and I'm going to go through these 3 items right here. Oh, well, it's really the top 5 now. Dang it. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go through these items. And like you said at the top, Andy, the Mando Mondays, we went through and we kind of regrouped after our last show, and we were like, man, I don't know how many more the child Grogu, whatever, Baby Yoda t-shirts we can put up on the screen and still keep your interest. So we're going to change things up a little bit. We get it. And I hope you get it too. Hey, we were all in the same boat as you were, trying to figure out how Mando Mondays were going to go. They came out of the gate hard and they just kind of faltered at the end, and that's okay. But we do still have some cool items. And so here's the first one.
Yep.
We've got Fennec. We've got Fennec.
The latest in the cardboard cutout stands. Fennec Shand. She's back.
She is back. She's robo-bellied.
Iron abs.
Yeah, she's got what'd you say, Scotty?
She got iron abs.
Iron abs. That's right. That's right. She's back. We're glad to see her back. It's almost, while we look at some of these items for Mando Monday, it's kind of fun to kind of talk about, like, hey, look, you guys, each of you kind of pat yourselves on the back right now. Some of you in the chat, I know some of us here in the room, pat yourself on the back. You were right last season when you heard the spurs a clinking and they hobbled up to a downed Fennec. You were right. She's back, and she's back with Boba. And Boba's back with his own bald-headed Boba. Oh my gosh, Gilster's in the room too. Holy crap. Gilster's giving us $4.99. That is a Gilster trademark right there. He knows the price of a cheeseburger.
That's the Gilster that keeps on giving.
That really is. That really is. Thank you so much, Gilster. Thank you. And obviously, Gilster is going to throw that cash up because Boba is back. And what an episode. We've already dove in, really a deep dive into the episode on Friday. But we would be remiss here on the Holo Chronicles if we didn't give our own 2 cents. Here he is. How do you feel about this stand-up? Is this a stand-up that you're going to put in your bedroom? That's my first question.
No, this would freak me out. I'm not gonna lie. He looks like one of the coaches I had in high school, and he just has that look, especially the look of disappointment. He's got that thing going on. And
I don't real.
Is that how your coach looked at you in high school, Scott?
Yeah, I remember I would be the first one to get undressed in the locker room, and he'd always just shake his head and make this look. So
why is that?
Scott,
I don't know. I just wanted to prove a point that I could take my clothes off the fastest.
I may not be the fastest on the field, but I'm the fastest one in the shower.
Yep, exactly.
All right, that's weird.
Scotty, I could actually. We need an entire show just about that topic, and I think.
No, but that's the look, and that's a pretty stern look, and I would not want to wake up to that. Now, would I put that in the front yard to scare some kids away? I would, most definitely.
Yeah,
sure,
most definitely.
So, how did you feel? I'm sorry, Andy. You've been go for it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say between this one and the next one that you're gonna put up,
yeah,
like which would you rather have?
Well, that's a kind of a stupid question, Andy.
Really?
Here's the next one. Here's the next one.
Oh. Hey, with a
Josh
rocket.
in a Mando suit. It's so cool. Josh,
it's me in the Mando suit right there, baby. That's a great profile too. That's what I like about the new Boba. Is that Boba's okay with burgers? Like, so Boba's not donating to our Patreon because he is buying all the cheeseburgers.
Hey,
I know.
You be nice.
I know. And we talked about this already. I put up a pic on Twitter of me and Tamara, and he is not a hefty dude by any stretch of the imagination, especially when he's standing next to me. He's kind of a shorter dude, and I think the explanation here was that he donned the armor over top of his Tusken Raider robe, right?
Yeah.
So
Plus
he had extra padding.
Yeah, he had the robe and a shirt on, and so he would be the first to admit it. It fits a little snug.
It does. It fits a little snug. But okay, guys, can we? And I know I've already done. I can do this 100 times. Is this not the best Boba we've ever seen? And I'm like hands down, right? Like this eclipses. Well, hold on. There's some purists. There's some purists out there. There's probably some purists in the room. does this eclipse any scene we had with Boba in any of the original trilogy?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to. I think that's the point of it. You know, we had always wanted to know what this character was about, and thankfully, Jango Fett, who's had video games and has all these things, you know, based off of him, you could see that in the movies too. I mean, he kicks Obi-Wan's butt to a certain extent, you know, and he gives him his all. But like, I mean, this character back here was just cool for the longest time, but now he's like really a threat to be reckoned with, and we've got possibly 2 more episodes with him, which is the best part of this. We're not done with that, like, at all.
But don't discount Return of the Jedi. I mean, he fought. And the problem with the Return of the Jedi is that for whatever reason, Lucas or whoever decided that his fate would be kind of comical. I mean, really, that's what it turned into. He slammed into the side of the barge. He slid down it after getting popped with a spear in the back and igniting his rocket. I mean, it wasn't like the best death, right? Yeah. Fell into the Sarlacc pit, although we know now that it was not a death. It wasn't the best exit, let's say. But he did get to fight, and he used his grappling rope to tie up Luke, who summarily cut it off, and, you know, no big deal. But I mean, that's all we got of Boba, and then he became this legend. And the legend may be based solely on how cool he looks. I mean, obviously very cool, like one of the coolest characters in Star Wars, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Right. So it totally created this whole Mandalorian season that we have, or series that we have now. So very cool. But
love the
comment. Separated at birth. Yeah. Twins. Right. So anyway,
maybe he ate himself out of the Sarlacc pit.
He might have. It's a delicacy, the Sarlacc.
So I find it kind of funny that Tamira Morrison is not a tall guy, but Jeremy Bulloch was like 5'11", 6 foot tall. So you are getting a little bit, well, just to the greater point that you said there, we are getting a version of Boba Fett that we have not yet seen and only probably imagined in our wildest dreams 40 years in the making. And so it's the most we've ever seen Boba say and do ever, you know. I mean, so I mean, it was in an episode that I had, you know, mixed emotions about. It was, that part of it was cool. That part of it, undisputed. I loved seeing it, and I think most people did.
Yep. I think it was a good take on Boba. It was his best appearance yet. And I said this on Friday. I think it's the best acting in Star Wars so far, outside of like Ewan and no, I mean, it's the best acting, let's say, in The Mandalorian. I can't start diving into all the other actors, but in The Mandalorian, I thought it was fantastic. Like, I believed
me too.
This was a Boba that was looking for his armor, and that's so bounty hunterish, right? Like, with purpose and without an end date. I want my armor. That's it. That was it.
The way he said Tatooine got me so excited. He's like, Tatooine. I was like,
whoa. Because it's kind of got that like he's from there. I mean, not
Tatooine.
Like he's got that New Zealand, like, just that authenticity that sounds like he's got some heritage behind it, and then just the way that he swung that gaffy stick around, and that's part of his like Maori culture too, right? So it 100%. Was that's why I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if he did a lot of his own stunts in this, and Tatooine, it was very and then Jared just throwing him out there, you know.
Come on, Jared.
He's making it rain.
I agree with that statement.
Make it rain at the
I agree with that statement, though, because here we are. Jared and I are we're part of the Attack of the Clones generation. And like, we got Jango and we lived off Jango. We never got Boba. And this episode did make me, and I wanted this because this is only like $18 on Facebook Marketplace, so I had to buy it. Now it's a permanent investment. But with Jared saying it, you know, I finally care. And like, I really care now. I love that character. He sold it to me.
And Scotty, that's such a strange take for me, and I love hearing it because that actually makes no sense in my brain until you actually say it, and I'm like, oh no, I spent my whole childhood like just Boba was awesome. There was Boba t-shirts. There was like when you played Star Wars, you wanted to be Boba Fett. I mean, which is, and everyone asks, especially people from your generation of like, and Arzu said this on Friday. She's like, I didn't get Boba. I'm like, how did you not get Boba? But it's mostly because we all had the time to headcanon Boba and the books that supported in the comics that supported a badass Boba Fett. Because that's the deal. When you have somebody that maybe has that it factor and looks super cool and then really doesn't have any story, you can make all the stories up about him. And that's what they did in the the Legend series and all that. I mean,
and one of the best things about Boba Fett, and we've said this before, is that because you didn't know what he looked like, you didn't really know where he was from or anything. This is going back to original. Like, he could be anyone. He could be from anywhere. He could be like, that was one of the big draws to him, at least if you want to look at it from a psychological perspective. Since we didn't know what he looked like, he could be any kid playing with that figure, And so the mystery surrounding him, I mean, now it's paid off later, but that's why people cared about him originally, because he was everybody that wanted to be him.
Do you think
there weren't any limits?
Do you think that they've paid him off now and the timing is perfect? So it's not going to hurt old dudes' feelings like us. It's not going to hurt our feelings because, like, yeah, we had the Legends. We had all our own headcanon. We had our action figures we played with. We made up stories. We're fine with the story you finally came up with that is now canon. And then at the same time brought in like Scotty's and we're like, hey, this is why Boba Fett's cool, which by the way, we're finding out at the same time, except which is really outside of our own imagination.
And getting confirmed.
It's getting confirmed. So you think that this was maybe like a master stroke, unintentional, but also super intentional.
Well, it gives y'all validation while it gives us an understanding. Like, it's two huge different things going on right there. Y'all are validated in your love for him, while now I understand your love for him. It just clicks for me now. It's really kind of beautiful. It's like I don't think that was their intention. And if it was, they were genius at doing it.
Yeah.
And Robert Rodriguez, that was the man to do it. That really, it couldn't have been any better. It was perfect.
In an episode that required a lot of action, he was equal to the task.
Oh yeah.
Do you think we'll ever have like a Jar Jar moment, which will pull?
Who was I talking with my friend Eric about this? I really do think there is a possibility somewhere
for a Jar Jar moment.
Dude, could you imagine like it's Ahmad Best playing him, and it's like he's like real depressed. He's like, yeah, I've been doing the best I can,
Misa been doing the best I can.
Yeah, and then like everyone's like, oh wow, I kind of get him now. Like George didn't know how to write, how he was supposed to feel, and now we're all like, oh, Jar Jar. And then Twitter, you've seen today. Today's been a wonderful blast on Twitter, but it's just like this. I don't know. We could maybe one day
we'll have a Jar Jar redemption. Okay, guys, we are still talking about Monday, Mando Monday. We still need to get to the next one. I know this last episode. This is what's crazy. This last episode almost inspired more conversation than Ahsoka. The episode before, I don't, and as well it should. I mean, 40 years in the making. That's been put out there everywhere. You can see that 40 years in the making. Our compadre Pete Fletcher said that. Yakface.com said it today. I mean, it's like 40 years in the making, and so it should get its due time on screen, especially our screen, where there's literally tens of 20s of people watching us right now. So let's go to our next item, and it's not our final, but it is this. Golly. Oh man, Blando Mondays are really coming in hot right now. So it's just a damn crystal. Okay, first of all, who owns a crystal outside of any? Okay, Andy, talk, because I'm gonna rant. So
okay,
talk.
I know. We all know, if you've listened to us at all, Josh is a little frustrated with the timing and frequency of the child merch products, right? Nothing last Christmas, everything this Christmas, and it's everywhere. And I was made aware of this little crystal cutie this morning by our buddy Nick, whose comment is on the screen right now.
I agree so hard with this comment that Nick, I love you so much. Nick is a true follower of me.
The good news is that it's less than $100.
I don't even care how much it is.
The bad news is that I think it's still about $80.
Here's the bad news, Andy, is you're 100% wrong. The bad news that keeps getting worse is it's $159 for this. No. I think I don't think I made myself clear. This is Swarovski. It's Crystal Baby Yoda. I mean, at what point does your grandma really appreciate?
I was gonna say that.
That'll go very cool. That's gonna sit really cool next to her crystal cat collection.
Oh my golly, this is like. Yeah, can you imagine walking in? Can you imagine the least coolest collection you've ever seen is when you walk in and you see a brass and glass shelf system full of crystal Mandalorian figures headlined by freaking they don't even know the name. They didn't call it the child. They didn't call it Grogu. They just called it Baby Yoda. I mean, this is the weakest attempt. Okay. Sorry, Swarovski.
What would you rather have? What would you rather have? A Mandalorian crystal figurine set, or I had a grandma.
Sorry, I wasn't making fun of anyone's grandma.
No. This is funny. Who had a collection, and we're talking over 50 brass Jello molds.
This is where you got it from.
What would you rather have? I would rather have the Jello mold.
I think I'd rather have the Jello mold stool. I mean, at some point when you're walking through the mall, maybe, I don't know, you got to be in your early 20s. You walk by a piece of glass that's had a laser etched wolf inside of it, and you go, yeah, awesome. I want that.
That'll match my shirt really cool.
You may be on some sort of substance too.
Yeah, there's a Russian dude or something.
Get to the next one.
No, I'm not getting to the next one. What I'm saying is, what the freaking hell is going on here? I'm not getting to the next one. This is unacceptable. I'm just kidding. I'll get to the next one. Sorry.
Because the next one's actually something that I could see one of us or all of us having.
I know. I just feel like if I'm coming out of this so distraught that going to the next one is a little, and this one has a good conversation behind it. I just want to put a bow on this son of a bitch right here, though.
Is it a
No.
It's just a figurine. Keep it moving.
That's my bow. No, we're not doing that anymore. Sorry, I clicked off the screen. All right, here we go. Andy's trying to rush me along so I don't yell too much.
Well, Paul stepped out of the room for a minute and he came back to Jello.
Exactly. That was you, by the way. That wasn't me. I was screaming like a professional.
All right,
Scotty. Sorry. Okay, here it is. There's a lot of chatter about this next item, and there's going to be a lot of controversy too. It may even be on a HasLab level, but here you go.
Yo,
that's the coolest Nerf gun I've ever seen.
That is hands down.
Right?
Yes.
I got to be honest. I had a Nerf war in my home less than a week ago. My daughters. I have a daughter who has one Nerf gun that's fully automatic. The next one is semi, and mine is literally like a put the bullet in, cock it, load it, and shoot one at a time. Because obviously, I'm the better fighter according to them, and this I think would up my game by quite a bit, because I would disintegrate the hell out of my kids.
Yes, you would.
I have to be honest with you, little bastards. For the price
you should be able to.
So how much is it, Scotty?
If I'm not mistaken, isn't it 99 or is it 120?
Yeah. So how many rounds it's $100. So how many rounds do you think this thing's shooting? It looks like one.
One, yeah, it looks like one at a time.
There's no way.
Right?
Huh. I'm gonna look it up.
So yeah, look it up. Look it up. I didn't look it up. I just took the picture. But I mean, maybe get 2 or 3 rounds, but I don't know. So
yeah,
so
maybe there's a little cartridge that spring loads 3 of them or something.
The chat has already exploded with comments on this, and I made a little jab at the Razor Crest, but this gun doesn't exist anymore, right? It's a goner.
Yeah, it's gone.
How did they do that? Do you think they screwed that up? Do you think like at the end of editing and they got it in print, it's out, it's going to be streamed, that like Filoni was like, oh shit, where's the gun? Where's the disintegrator? I'm like, oh God damn it, and then they just back off and they just deal with it. I don't know, maybe.
Light Shark, this is a Nerf. This is a Nerf gun here.
Yeah,
so,
this is Nerf.
One of my
this is as nerfy as it gets. So how do you guys feel about the disintegration of the disintegrator? How do you feel about that?
Looks like one at a time. Y'all are right. Seriously. Just load it in. Yep, it's only one.
Single shot. I'm still going to lose to my kids with this. Plus, I can't even tuck it in my pants.
Nope.
Man, you need to tie a rope to it and sling it over your shoulder.
Yeah.
But Josh, actually, your point here, and if we could maybe move away from the Mando Monday. Thank you for joining us for the Mando Monday merch.
Mando Money is closer.
Reveals for this week. We narrowed it down to our best 3, but it was really the cutouts were all 1. So
sure.
I love this here. I need 4 of them.
4 of them.
All right. So
can you imagine just pulling 2 out, dual wielding,
and then you gotta
single shots, then you reload it with the powder and you put the round in.
But if we could move into maybe just a quick conversation here, and Josh, you alluded to it. When I saw the Razor Crest, and spoilers here, we're talking spoilers from Friday's episode. When I saw the Razor Crest get absolutely annihilated,
right?
I gasped, and it wasn't like a huge outward expression. It was like, I mean, it was quick. It took me by surprise, and it just
we're
just
getting
for a
different
moment,
gasps from you.
I mean, my immediate thought was like, oh no, we're not going to have the HasLab. Like that was it. That was the.
That's what I thought of. Y'all too.
That's what I thought of.
Y'all too.
Yeah.
Y'all
I know.
knows.
Andy.
Okay, but like my first like initial reaction, and it was like 0.1 seconds. Like, oh no, no more HasLab. And then I thought, no, that's silly. We'll still have the Razor Crest, but there has been a little bit of blowback in the days since. We're like, well, why would you HasLab something that no longer exists? And I have a couple of points to that, and you tell me what you think, Josh and Scott.
Yeah, go ahead, because I have some points too.
First is that they could always get him another one, right? That's not the only one in the galaxy. Mm-hmm. He could end up getting another one at some point, and so like, okay, well, that would be fine. 2, if I'm not mistaken, the sail barge blew up. That doesn't exist anymore.
There you go. So, that was my point. Thank you. Ba-boom.
Okay.
Almost in the same fashion, like the explosion nearly looked identical to that.
God, look how that's crazy to me.
It's gone. It is absolutely gone.
Go on. Your points are valid. Continue.
And I guess thirdly, it shouldn't matter because it is a cool ship, even if it was there for 1.5 seasons or for every season. It's still a cool ship. That part doesn't change. But I did see on a few YouTubers channels today some reaction response to, is that going to affect the value of it all, like in the secondary market? And there's like people concerned about this. And overwhelmingly, I hope it does change the value so it drops back down to the actual price, and now I can get it.
Right.
So, which it won't. It absolutely won't. This will have no effect on the value. That's my opinion.
I think it's a ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous to compare the destruction of Razor Crest to any value or the HasLab project or anything like that. Your point was completely validated by saying the katana had less screen time than the Razor Crest by 100. And it blew up. It's only its connection to Jabba, who, by the way, blew up with it, that gave us kind of that connection to it. And then we had moved on by years. You just watched it live is your problem. And so you're kind of freaking out a little bit. And by the way, if HasLab had come out with the Razor Crest 5 years from now, you'd be like, yeah, I really liked that ship. And just like X-Wings and A-Wings that are getting blown up left and right, just like any other ship, even Slave One, we didn't know that was coming back. We thought that thing was a goner, but we bought the hell out of it up until now, and we'd buy it again. And so I think that's silly. The Razor Crest going down is obviously a plot piece they want to motivate. They knew it would hurt because it hurt them to blow it up. I guaranteed it hurt them to blow it up, but they also had to overcome their name issue. No one follows that, but whatever.
One thing I think is really important too that has been mentioned, but for the sake of Din Djarin's character, his whole entire thing has been him, the child, and the ship, and that's just how it's been the last season and a half, right? And so you got to think to get Din to want to have the child be his own, pretty much raise him as a kid. Obviously, that the beginning of that episode was totally into that, making him laugh and stuff, and saying his name. And we end up with him losing that ship that obviously means a lot to him, and then losing the child. All he has left is that silver-colored knob, and then he has the spear. It's a really beautiful thing. Almost, it's like they had to get him at his lowest point, like classic hero's journey stuff, for him to then rise above and realize what his actual goal is. Because the crest was, where he kept the child, but now he has no ship at all, and you never know where this could end up. Maybe Boba feels bad enough for him and gives him the Slave One, which would be, we
don't want that.
That would be wild, though. I mean,
but Scotty, I don't think you're wrong. I think that's a good take. I think the title of the episode was a tragedy, and many people, tongue in cheek at the end of that episode was like, what was a real tragedy? The loss of the child or the loss of the crest? And I think that's actually the both are true. I mean, it is a tragedy in the line of what so far has been the Mandalorian or Din beating the odds. He's beaten every odd so far. He beat the odds when Gideon had him surrounded in the cantina and he got out of that. He beat all the odds when he got basically, screwed with the I don't know, Bill Burr and crew. So this is the time it needed to happen, and it's actually surprising that it happened this late in the series. The back end of season 2, and it's a tragedy. And killing the crest is better than killing anyone else, right?
True, it's true.
Yeah, and in every story, that second act is always the leave things kind of in an uneasy place, and it's just that the second act happened to be towards the end of the season where he has experienced tragedy. He failed keeping Grogu safe. He lost his ship. He is in a helpless position more so than we have ever seen him. And so the writers, I'm sure they know what they're doing. They're establishing him to be in a very vulnerable place. That's why he made every decision that was wrong in that episode and really had to take a back seat to everything else that was happening around him. So
I think that's well said. And I think our people in the chat, Bubba's Toy Box, I was gutted by when the crest blew up. Could not believe it. Still in shock. That's good story writing.
Yeah.
And Andy, I'm almost, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you, except for briefly on streaming Star Wars on Friday. That's good storytelling. If you walk away from an episode a little disconcerted, like we did at the end of Empire. Empire was the perfect formulation in the Star Wars universe of good storytelling that didn't make you feel good. They warned you. They warned you with the title. It was called Empire Strikes Back. And then still at the end, you're like, oh, Han Solo's dead-ish.
Maybe
where's everything going?
Luke's missing a hand.
And my pets' heads are falling off.
Vader's dead.
Everything's bad. So that's good storytelling. That's what you need, and that's what they're giving us right now. We have literally, and I say this, we have master storytellers, coordinating this whole project right now. Let them play. They will make you feel better later on down the road, and they will probably inspire another HasLab project that you will also back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, 100%. I don't feel bad about this at all. Yeah. I'm happily backing the HasLab project, Razor Crest. And I'm going to be pumped when it gets here next year.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
All right. So I put up a poll earlier today, and this afternoon, and as of the reading of this, I'm checking it out right now, 158 votes. The question was, what's been the best character reveal of season 2? And your choices are Cobb Vanth, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka Tano, and Boba Fett. And 158 votes in. Scotty, what do you think has been chosen as the best character reveal of season 2?
Well, and I'd be the first to say it. And I know I sent you all a very brief, video of my reaction to the Ahsoka episode, and it's obviously I got very excited, of course. But
that's what you did.
I liked how unceremonious Ahsoka's reveal was. It was just like right into it, bang, boom. But I really think at this point of watching it, and you never know who shows up in the last 2 episodes. I really do think at this point, I think Boba Fett's not his initial one in the first chapter of the season, not the one where you saw him obviously again, right, in this episode, but when you see him fully in the armor and he's doing his thing, and that's the Boba Fett the Boba Fett we all fell in love with, the Boba Fett I fell in love with on Friday. That moment within itself was just so tremendous. It was just, so good.
So answer my question. Which one was the best for you?
I think Boba Fett for
Boba
me.
Fett. Mm-hmm. I agree. And that's so interesting because you really should be the Clone Wars Ahsoka fan. Just that's your wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. And so I find that very interesting. I love the continuing dialogue of now I like Boba Fett, which is again, it's a master stroke by these guys that are directing this. It's so good because we didn't need a reason to love him. We just needed his helmet and his ship. Done. Yeah. I love him. Yeah. But we got more. So that's fantastic.
I loved all of them because, for some, I will say that if you were listening, watching it all, maybe some of those reveals were spoiled a little bit. They weren't like true surprises like Grogu was. But we just kind of heard rumors that these people would be appearing, and we're kind of, Timothy Oliphant, will he be Cobb Vanth? Is he actually playing Boba Fett? I mean, he's going to be wearing the armor maybe. And so like, that's kind of fun to get those bits, but you're not like blown away necessarily. Like I was blown away with the Boba Fett in the last episode because I thought we were just going to get teased with them and he would show up maybe next season or we would just have been paid off to know that he made it out of the pit.
Exactly.
And that would have been fine. But for him to come back and actually he's going to play a big role in the next 2 episodes, I imagine, like that's kind of big for me. The Ahsoka reveal, Ben says it wasn't really a reveal. She was just boom there. And the episode started with her off and running. And that was cool. When Bo-Katan flew down and saved Din, and the other night owls, like that was cool. So they're doing it very well. And just people respond to different characters differently. But according to the poll, 158 votes, Ahsoka and Boba were exactly tied in the number for number 1. And then Cobb Vanth and Bo-Katan were pretty close as well. So I thought that was kind of a fun little question. You can still go to our Twitter.
Ahsoka took the lead with 37.3. So Ahsoka's up. Ahsoka's up just recently.
Just a vote ahead. You can go back and vote on if you haven't, if you would like to. It's
well, now that you can see the percentages, I mean, I guess it might be kind of like don't vote for Cobb Vanth. I'm just gonna be honest. If you want to be a winner, Just don't. Okay. Anywho, so let's get back to our roots a little bit. I mean, what do we see? What do you see out of kind of the toy sphere, out of the collectible sphere, coming from so far Mando season 2? We know that Black Series is going to be on top of it. They always have. They're very fast. We get different Mandalorians. So what are we going to see from these last, let's say, 2 or 3 episodes that are going to dive in and hit our shelves, so to speak? Scotty, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I'd imagine we'd get 2 variations of the Boba that we got. The one with the gaffy stick, which I'd probably buy that one in a heartbeat. And the heavier set Boba with the armor back was just so incredible. I don't know. I've never been a crazy Boba guy. Like I said, I mean, I bought that out of necessity, and I had to get it. It was $18, but like I feel that we could even get maybe a variation of the Black Series helmet, because it is slightly different. If you look at it, there's a lot less paint on it, which could be really kind of cool to have, on your shelf. But you are the experts at this. Y'all can tell me way more about it. I mean, Bo-Katan, 100% getting one. 100%.
Even better, it's like, what do you want? I mean, that's the thing, is like, you're the fan. So let's say we're not the experts. We just talk toys. But I mean, you're the fan. Like, what do you want to see? So if you want to see a more battered Boba helmet, if you want to see a figure that's Boba sans armor, that I think that figure has to exist. That's going to be like a cloth robe, and that's going to have the gaffy stick and of course Tamora's visage and the scarring. I think that's just a figure that has to be owned, whether in 3.75 or 6-inch Black Series, doesn't matter. I'll own both of those. That's super fun. And I think let me make my statement here. I think this is what's happening with the Mandalorian, is now I am inspired as a collector to really tackle Mandalorian branded toys right now. I really want to own that collection. I'm so invested in the I don't know, the story right now. And I know we just had one pop up on the screen where the story maybe isn't as good as it could be, but it doesn't matter. It's Star Wars and it's a story. And quite frankly, I think it's better than most stories we've gotten so far. So
true.
So I think like you said, Josh, Black Series will be on it. And we haven't always gotten the same 3.75, like the vintage collection and the Black Series haven't always put out the same figures. So, what would be really fun to see is like a 3-pack of the Night Owls.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think, man, you know that there's going to be a chewed up, pockmarked Boba Black Series helmet version now. That I got to think that's coming. As well as a new, in the armor, and like you said, in the robe.
How about a gaffy stick? Are we going to get a gaffy stick?
That would be. Oh, you mean like an actual, like a Black Series gaffy stick?
Not a Nerf gaffy stick, just a regular gaffy stick.
Because they do make those they're a foamy. I think you can get those at like Disneyland. You can get an actual gaffy stick. That would be kind of fun to get. But but they're only this. They're not like actual size. They're like a.
No, I want helmet shattering size. That's what I want. So
okay, all right. Hey, let's. We know people that have 3D printers. Maybe we can get one hooked up.
That's a lot of printing. And I'll tell you one thing that'll shatter. It'll be the gaffy stick. But yes, you're right.
But no, I fully anticipate like an Ahsoka, in the dark. She in the dark gray robes. Like this is different. It's a different look. With the baggy pants.
Well, and with Rosario's look too, which is a refined live action look. That's totally different.
Yeah, and because of the popularity of those. Because of the show, because of the characters, would it be cool to get a Cobb Vanth? Even though it's in the same armor, but it's a different character. So a helmet that you can remove and you can see Oliphant's face. Whereas the Boba Fett figure you remove his head, you get Tamura Morrison's face.
I'd like that the Cobb Vanth version though was just super gangly. Like I want the armor to just be ridiculous on him. I want the helmet to not be like when he's on your shelf, you always have to reach up and like straighten his helmet because his head's just not big enough. Right? You're always like you're trying to feed him. You're like,
and Cobb. Hey, what about an actual rocket firing backpack? Come on. It's time. It's
the Boring
time.
Company. They'll put it out.
Come on.
Hold on. I can make my mic my rocket. That's on the fly, folks. Yeah. It's not always going to work.
Oh man.
Yeah, welcome to the Holo Chronicles. Speaking of Holo Chronicles, you can find us at Holo Chronicles on Twitter. You can also follow us www.beyondtheblasters.com, YouTube/beyondtheblasters. I mean, that's where you're going to find all our videos. Look, stop right now before I do another terrible rocket joke. And hit subscribe, share with your friends, tell them, look, these guys are idiots. And every now and then you need some idiots in your life. That's why I'm married. So my wife figured that out. Anyway, guys, should we move on?
We should. Mm-hmm. Our next topic, and you guys are going to go first on this. I'll share mine last.
Hold on. I have a drop for this. If it's the one I think. What's our next topic? Hold on. This is Andy and I with show notes going on right now.
Our favorite Easter eggs from season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Easter eggs. I didn't make that for nothing, folks. All right. Here we go.
Woo! So one thing that The Mandalorian has been great about is dropping Easter eggs in every episode that call back to the animated series, the original trilogy, books. They do. Some would call it fan service. Others would call it Easter egging. But whatever it is, we, Josh and I, and Scotty probably too. I don't want to speak for you, Scotty, but we feel like The Mandalorian has done a great job in having The Mandalorian be the connective tissue between prequels, original, sequel, animated, and books and comics. There are connections in all of those medias. And I wanted to ask you and people in the chat, you are certainly welcome to provide your own, but what has been your favorite Easter egg from season 2 of The Mandalorian so far? Scotty, why don't you go first?
Sure. Look, okay, y'all know me. I'm my claim to fame, and I genuinely mean it. I love The Phantom Menace. It's my favorite movie. I mean, I've got the theatrical poster right there, and I couldn't even put it up. My girlfriend would not let me put it up, but I had the pod racing poster. I sent y'all a picture of. She goes, "That's going in the garage." Like I can't have it now. Y'all know how it is. No, so I was like, okay, I love the fact that we got a refabricated Anakin's pod racer for Cobb Vanth Speeder. It's just like look at that. That's insane. We got a guy wearing Boba Fett's armor who actually went back and touched up the paint on I guess the engine part of Anakin's pod racer, and made some additions to it. It's just like, look how incredible that is. The noise, the sound design alone was so good for that moment. It was just like a quieter version of Anakin's pod, and like they're just talking like nothing, no big deal. And it would make sense for Tatooine, y'all. Think about it. Literally. Yeah. I mean, R4D5, is that it? R5D4 literally was like hanging out with Pelly at her place, at the
with the charred motivator in the back,
Oh yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I look at this and I think, what a great and subtle thing that maybe honestly 1 out of 10 viewers got. Like really, I really do think maybe 1 out of 10 people that were like, wait a minute, I recognize that. And of course, instantly I'm like standing up and crying. I mean, I don't know. I have a very raw reaction to this stuff. But, it's, and I will say this, and it might sound very harsh, but with the sequel trilogy, Rogue One and Solo, they did not give anything to the prequels there, like anything. And I know that's just, I think anyone that's watched those movies will say, yeah, they kind of swept the prequels under the rug. This was the first time, besides the pit droids in Chapter 5, Chapter 9 was the first time they were like, yeah, here is literally, and there's like 3 big things. Here is the fact that we get this moment right here.
Mm-hmm.
We get the Tusken Raider dogs, right? And then you get to see the Tusken Raiders' huts, just like you do in Attack of the Clones. And I'm sitting here thinking, if this whole season's going to be like this, it's going to be perfect. And I was right. Every episode, there's been a callback to the prequels. There's been a callback to Clone Wars. There's going to be a callback to Rebels. There was one with Ahsoka and Thrawn. Like, we have gotten, we are so lucky, honest to God. Like, right now, we are in the best spot right now. And honestly, that one moment alone with Anakin's pod would have been enough to complete,
That was just that chapter 10.
That was cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So I don't know. I love the fact that
in the chat here, Nick Milky, he says the blue butterflies.
Yeah.
The callbacks. That was pretty cool. JD says the Apollo 13 entry, Razor Crest entry, nod to Bryce Dallas Howard's dad, Ron Howard,
which was
Ricky Cunningham.
Yeah.
And my wife, Oprah.
And
That's an Austin Powers. Sorry.
Let's see. Yeah,
Richie.
Pelmato and her fine collection of droids. That's a fun one. R5 being the one of the Easter eggs, one of the droids there. So yeah, you guys are definitely hitting the nail on the head. Josh, what was how about for you? What was
well, I mean, you Easter egged out more than me. I'll actually let you go next. Which one did you want? I'll let you go next, and I'll take whatever one you didn't take.
Okay, I want the IG-11 statue.
There you go.
Subtle.
So this is super subtle, but this is just like this is how much they're paying attention to things, because this is in the background when Mando gets back to what's the name of the planet? I'm totally Navarro. Thank you. And he's about to walk into the bar, which is now a school. But in the background, they have put up a statue to IG-11 for basically saving the day and beginning the dissipation of the Empire remnant in that town. And so I just thought it was so cool that they put up a statue in its honor. I don't know. It was super subtle, and it just was on the screen for a moment. But that's what I love about this show. It's like these details make perfect sense.
Yeah.
And that it's for me, it was like it was one of those kind of moments. Like, oh yeah, Taika Waititi, man. Yeah. That, so I love the IG-11 droid and his role in season 1. And so I don't know, that has been my favorite so far. And then the last one, Josh,
I'll take this one. See, my deal was my favorite would just be Boba in the first, but that's just too easy. So it's not very Easter eggy either. It's more of the plot, right? So, but this one we talked about a little bit, and I have questions. And this came up in a YouTube video that was posted. And I always, and Andy and I love talking to you about that, because you can deep dive with your headcanon if you want to, or sometimes you might just ask questions of maybe how the production went together. But it's this one, and we were talking about the temple, or the top of the ruined temple, and we've got Grogu on the Seeing Stone. He's communing with the Force and hopefully contacting a Jedi. At this scene right here, if you were to the right of it, you'd have the Mandalorian kind of scaling the side of a mountain, trying to get down to the troopers. But this is the circle is showing perhaps a figure next to Grogu.
Yeah. So so full disclosure, I heard this on New Rockstars. If you've ever watched their recaps and Easter eggs reviews after every Mando episode, I love watching that. But this was when Fennec Shan had her sniper on the child, kind of at the beginning, and it's just there for a blink of an eye, and yeah, it's like,
oh, so this isn't when he was scaling the mountain, because that's another scene where that's in the background.
Yeah, that's a little later. So like you said, Josh, is like, is this just what you were saying earlier? And it could be a viable explanation. Like, is this just like a stock photo that they had in the background that just never kind of got touched up with CGI? So that wasn't any. It's the next Jeans guy that just happened to be in the shot.
Yeah.
Or is this something that we'll see later that Grogu is actually communing with somebody via the Force or the Force ghost that's like, hey, what's up, little man? And we'll get to see that later. Or is it just nothing? Like, this is fun.
I need to be careful here because my initial reaction is that it's nothing. My initial reaction is that it's a, obviously it's a computer generated clip put up on the screen, and maybe they took a clip and they forgot that the director was in the shot or Gene's guy. But however, the only reason that this makes me question my thinking is that Grogu's whole experience on the Seeing Stone is not documented. It's only documented through Din's attempts to get him out, and then he leaves. And we don't see like Grogu experiencing whatever happened there. We only see at the end when he kind of gets tired, like he always does, sleepy BB, and he lays down. So it could be that we get like maybe the next episode, maybe it starts in the middle of this experience with Grogu on the Seeing Stone and what happens with Grogu, and then kind of gets going with the Dark Troopers coming down and taking him away. And so we kind of do a minimal rewind where we're missing all the action with the Imperial Troopers and Fennec and Boba, but we're gaining all the action we missed up on the Seeing Stone. So that could be it. And if they did that, again, these guys are freaking smarter than we are. And the people that actually caught this are way smarter, meaning that they actually go ahead.
Well, I just find it amazing, right? Like,
sure.
Who picks over episodes and movies and comics and animated series more than Star Wars fans, right?
No, JD. Oh, that's why you put JD's up. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But as I look at the image, that's what I was like, is it just the top of the spire on the other side? I actually texted. I'm like, are we sure? And then you made a snide comment on the way I phrased it. You're like, you're lucky I didn't do this, because I was like, is that just the tip of another spire? And you're like, just the tip? Oh, come on, Andy. I'm exposing you to the world right now.
That's fine. That's fair. I'm always good for a wiener joke.
But in review, no, it doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like that at all. But what I was saying is, like, who picks over things more than Star Wars people? Nobody.
No one.
And we like to think that, the directors and producers and editors, and they all got everything down. They know more than the fans know. But we've gotten Gene's guy. We've gotten a helicopter in the background of this episode.
Yep.
And we've gotten this now too, which could be nothing. It could be something. It's fun to talk about. But I think we sometimes give a little too, like we say, oh yeah, they know. I mean, they got it under control. They know everything. It's better. Like they got it. And yet we still get Gene's guy once in a while. We
made an argument last week for dad brain. There could be some COVID brain going on with our directors here. So let's
no. I if it's nothing, I still love the fact that I like to think
somebody found it. Yeah.
Somebody found it, and then let's just say for a second it is something. Is it Luke? Is it Yoda?
Genius.
Is it Mace? Mace lives. Josh, are we going to do that at the end of the show?
Drop that.
Are we going to do that at the end of the show?
If you give me a minute, we will. But yes, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Okay.
We'll have to have Scotty do some filler for us, which I'm sure Scotty's very pro at. Now, look, we're going a little long here on the Holo Chronicles. It's been a while since we've gotten to do our thing outside of Mando Monday. So obviously, thank you in the chat for sticking with us as we kind of
absolutely
just recenter a little bit as Holo Chronicles. Now, Andy, Don't we have a collection we need to talk about here?
Ooh, let's see it.
We do. We 100% absolutely do.
And I have a drop. Show me your collection. I love the old school noises. This is like us. Old school is hilarious too because it was like a year ago. But yeah.
You know, Josh, if you wanted to go grab that iPad and I could share my screen for the collection, we could do that.
You got this? You got this?
I think so.
All right. Well,
I think we can do it.
This guy, ladies and gentlemen, Andy, the producer.
Andy. Daddy Andy.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thanks, man. We've got a collection. What's that?
He's bounced out. All right. So what is Adam Frazier? Oh, I forgot. We spoke to him.
Yeah, we spoke to Adam Frazier last week, and we just happened to be talking to him at the same time to show his collection.
Awesome.
And Adam's 34 years old. For those of you that are trying to find a reference point, and we try to most Mondays put up a followers or a fan collection that we can kind of sort through and point out and talk about. And the people that have collections always like to show them. And if you have a collection of any size, it doesn't have to, it could be a shelf, it could be an entire room or anything in between. We do this every Monday, hashtag show me your collection. And we put a little article up on the website. And we like to talk about it. We like to see what other people are into because no two collections are the same. Right, Scotty?
No, I know.
So this is Adam Frazier. You know, I asked him some questions. I always ask the collector some questions. And I'll just read a couple things here. It says, I spent weekends and summers going to flea markets, auctions, and yard sales, tracking down Kenner Star Wars toys and other artifacts. When new merchandise started hitting the shelves in the 90s, like Bendham's and Power of the Force 2, I made sure I tracked down everything, often getting 2 of each, so I'd have one to open up and one to keep in the package. And I'm like, that's awesome. I think a lot of people can relate to that. He also likes taking apart and fixing up some of his vintage.
Oh, look at that, y'all.
That's his little Imperial troop transport Andy, that he fixed up.
You're fond of doing the same thing, am I correct?
Oh, absolutely. I just fixed up a Darth Vader TIE fighter.
Don't you also add stuff to it as well? Is that something you do or no? Usually
not okay. I've dabbled in custom in custom ships before, but not figures. I've kind of tricked out a few of the vintage. But so Adam says he's got items from all eras of Star Wars collecting. And you can see the little vintage TV there, Scotty. You'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
I like the VHSs. Those are the CBS Fox ones, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those. I also like the setup. It's very minimalist. It's not like, I don't know. It's not really overwhelming. Let's see what else he's got.
So he's got.
Oh, nice.
He's got an entire figure run of the vintage figures.
What is the Boba Fett though? Hold on. What is that?
So down in the blue one or the pink one?
Both. Tell me.
So the blue one is it's a remake of the prototype rocket firing Boba, or removable rocket, and the box for it is right next to it. But that was a promotional thing a few years back.
Okay.
And then the pink figure next to it is actually not Boba Fett. It's an Imperial gunner. That is it's a custom figure. So
okay.
So he dabbles in a little bit of the custom, a little bit of the macabre. But some more of his figures here. I like his little Star Wars Toy Galaxy shelf labeled there. That's
Andy,
pretty yeah.
You could tell me. Now, I've always wondered this. How would, if someone were to have a display like that, how would someone go about cleaning it? Would they use like compressed air to clean it? I mean, you tell me.
Well, the nice thing about these are IKEA shelves.
So they're dust.
So they have a door on them. So you can actually maybe once a year just do a quick dusting through it. And you could use a little can of air O2, whatever, and give it a quick shot. But I don't know if I would do that. I think so I have some that are very similar to this, and I haven't needed to dust in them, and I've had them for over 3 years now. So
Sure.
as long as you keep the doors shut and the room,
Yeah.
they stay pretty dust free.
Okay. That's just out of curiosity. Ooh, look at that Falcon.
Yep. Vintage Falcon.
The vintage.
Nice.
Oh, he's got the
Josh is back.
Dark Saber. He got the Revan Dark Saber too, right? Is that who that is?
Yep.
Dark Saber. I meant to say sorry. The Revan Force Effects.
Yes.
Wow.
So again, there are some recognizable things in here. I like this shot right here.
Yeah.
Little vintage collection shelf there to follow up with the 3-pack of sail barge figures and the vintage collection skiff. I do like that.
That's a flex. That's a flex right there.
Yeah, and also a vintage collection Imperial troop transport in the bottom left corner there.
Wow.
Yep. Little lunchbox for taking trips.
Look at that.
So I know Framey, if Framey's watching, I can't see the chat at the moment, but on the post on Twitter today was just gushing over the Force Unleashed figures.
Yeah.
And we've talked about them before. They are an extremely underrated set of figures.
That is a collection that I am very disappointed that I didn't follow sooner or at all, really. I have a couple Force Unleashed, and man, they are probably my favorite. They're just right.
Yeah, they're good. There's no doubt about it. And he's got some Attack of the Clones figures up at the top. But yeah, that looks like.
And also, Force Unleashed helped, kind of, propel or continue the momentum of Boba. It just made Boba awesome. It's just like, I don't know, or Chewie or Luke.
The Sarlacc, that's the one.
Yeah, I've got it behind me. I showed it on Friday, but it's awesome.
It's dope. This is a pretty big collection.
Look at all these books too.
So
wow,
those are DVDs, I believe. But a couple of figure cases. Well, actually, 4 figure cases, and they seem to be pretty full with figures, as well as some carded figures down at the very bottom.
ROTJ carded.
Love to see those.
Bib Fortuna. And
then the vintage collection as well, off in the bottom right corner there. So, yeah, just like I said, he's got an original run of figures. Here are some more, like some Revenge of the Sith up top, and then you got some 12-inch figures in this shelf here with the Stormtrooper, Luke and the Tauntaun.
Nice.
A Darth Maul on a.
Oh wow! Look at that
on his little Sith speeder. Yeah. So.
Sith speeder.
And it's so silly.
Maulmobile.
That's the Sith speeder. So we're correcting you. Oh wow! That's great.
This is a flex picture right here.
That is.
We
We already saw it with the walls on. This is what I like is that Alex he showed and then he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to display some figures here because we already saw this from another angle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. With the door up. So
yeah.
And then the figures he put on there are like just the. Okay, so for those that don't know much about the last 17,
not all, but yeah. Is that a vinyl?
There's a Yak Face, which is a spendy figure. There's a blue Snaggletooth, which is a spendy figure. A Man is not cheap. Barada's last 17. There's a lightsaber R2, which is a spendy venture right there. And then I need to ask him if that's
authentic. A freaking vinyl. That looks like that's not a. I can't tell. Is that a vintage?
It might to say.
Actually, I'm going to call. I think that's a vintage. It looks a little too detailed from here.
Well, it's a vintage for sure. Jawa
vintage collection. I'm sorry, I'm saying that out loud, but yeah.
But we're not quite close enough to tell if it's an authentic cape or not. But it doesn't look to be like it's not. It's definitely not like an Obi-Wan cape that was cut short. The color looks to be kind of right. So anyway, just all the best figures right here. If you're talking value wise, it is very cool.
It does look like Yak Face has like a mohawk in that one, which makes him look a little better. If he'd had a mohawk, I think he would have sold a little better, which would have dropped his value. Continue.
Breathe, baby.
Yeah, again, two of the most highly sought after figures. Bookshelving reuse in the center there, bookending them.
bookend in the middle.
Love that. So this is one of his favorite items. His 12-inch vintage Boba Fett.
Cool.
And you can even see like the little knee darts.
On his,
they're there from the beginning. He's got a little rocket on his left arm. He's got the gun. It's a little different looking than
Wookiee braid,
guns.
which is the rarity.
Yeah, the Wookiee braids are sweet, and the rocket, an attached rocket, which is tough to find as well. That's what he said. This was one of his favorite items, and rightly so. It looks like it's in great shape.
Very cool.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
So a little love here to the late 90s and early 2000s. The Pepsi cutout of Qui-Gon, as well as Power of the Force figures, and some of my favorites, the Tartakovsky clone figures down in the white clone boxes there.
Do you think that's
those.
Do you think that's a bathroom behind Qui-Gon? So it's like Qui-Gon men's? No?
Qui-Gon Lou?
Yeah. Nothing.
Good one, Josh. Good one, Josh.
I wish I could hear the chat groaning. That would be better for me.
All right. So there's a lot to look at in this little corner, but that looks like an episode 3 R2 container.
Milky. We just need Milky. Qui-Gon John.
Qui-Gon John.
I mean, that's like, look, I'll set him up. You knock him out. That's my deal.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
Sam Carey's got me with the groan. I appreciate that.
He called him Liam Peason.
Liam Peaston, dear God! Peason. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I'll give you guys the material. You make it better. I have to come out and see. I do the rocket firing stupid thing, and then you guys have better jokes. It's this way it goes. I'm live here. I got to think on the fly. You guys have, 5 seconds more than I do, but I love it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Qui-Gon John. I'm putting it back up. Oh, continue.
There's more of the Force Unleashed figures. And I think we're at the end here, guys.
Are we? Yeah. I love the Force Unleashed. Liam Peason. Damn. I said this on Friday, and I'll say it again. The people in the chat are always smarter than we are. Not sure why we have a show, but I appreciate them joining us. Scotty.
So that's our Show Me Your Collection feature for the week. Remember, we do that. We try to do this every week, using the hashtag on Twitter, Show Me Your Collection. And if you have a collection of any size that you would like us to feature, we would love to do it. DM us on Twitter, get a hold of us, or you can email us at holochronicles@gmail.com. Or if you know of somebody that's got a sweet setup, reach out to us, them, connect us, and we would love to do that. I know we've featured a number of collections of people in the chat. Scotty, we haven't featured your collection yet, but
we're featuring his collection right now because I love that Boba cutout. I just love it. It's my fave.
Yeah, no, I'm very proud of that. I feel like that's the best like literally I've got investments in like small stocks and stuff, but I'm way more proud of that.
Well, the value's probably going to go up better too.
Exactly. And it's a vintage piece, guys. It's from 95. Okay. I think his little thing at some point must have disappeared, or they just didn't print with it. I don't know.
What I love is that
sometimes your thing disappears.
Scotty's definition of vintage and Josh and my definition of vintage are a little different. Because I think that makes us vintage, Josh.
We are vintage. Scotty.
You are nice old women. You look so pretty.
Well,
all right. So before we take out of here, we have one more thing, and thank you so much to everyone in the chat. We've just been staying steady with our crew. The crew has not left us. The crew is the best. So before we leave, we do have kind of a what'd you get this week, right, Andy? We got a what'd you get this week?
Yeah. I mean, I don't personally, but you guys do.
Scotty's got a what'd you get this week? So
I got one. Yeah.
All right, Scotty, what'd you get this week?
Okay, so literally this was listed for $5 and the shipping was $10. So I'm like, where else could you find this? And they didn't list the condition it was in. Not bad condition. Okay, it's a book. Okay, not much something you would normally collect, but it's The Art of Attack of the Clones. But look at it, y'all. I mean, if you've been to a public library, your middle school library, or your high school library, all the books were wrapped in this weird laminate
cellophane or something.
Oh yeah, and it looked even better. Whoever sold it, they had it. You can barely see it. Yeah, there we go.
Eastbury Branch Library. Yeah, they stole it from the library and sold it for $5.
It like tears in it. Then,
oh,
it's great. It's classic. But the book's pretty cool. I've never seen The Art of the Attack of the Clones, so I'm very interested. And I love collecting art, Star Wars art stuff. But that's one thing. This one I'm more proud of because I think the network and David watching. I imagine someone else in the network's watching too. We're going to take advantage of this, kiddos. Hold on. I got a capture card and everything for it. We're going to play some DVD. Now, the box, horrible condition.
No one cares.
But y'all, I was going through some of the questions. They're great. And, I don't know. I think this could be a really fun thing to do on, New Year's Eve and even do it with the network because it's a DVD. So you play the DVD and the board game. It would be great.
That's a Patreon network deal right there. That way, I mean, we don't want to put that out live because, look, we're obviously professionals, and everything that we do is very, very pro. There's never any errors, but we might run into some issues if we're trying to do a DVD stream. True. If you want to watch this, you got to join our Patreon for the price of a cheeseburger.
Maybe we'll do this. Maybe 2021 we'll ring it in this way.
We'll ring it in. I want to do it. That looks like fun. I'm gonna kill you guys at making bad jokes, according to everyone else. So, all right, Andy, you've got nothing.
No, I don't.
Andy just has to look around his room and be like, I don't know what I get.
I haven't gotten anything new in a while, but that is because, and my fingers are crossed here. Because I could be very soon making a bit of a purchase to tease in the future. So I'm gonna give up my time for this little segment right now, just to tease a future time.
All right, I'm gonna tease too, because if you're gonna tease, I'm gonna tease because I won't continue. All right, I got something, Scotty.
Oh, here we go.
It was in a box. Now, I went on a rant, and I already opened this damn box. You're for sure I'm going to do that because it's from Walmart, and I already have the rant about Walmart. But they did me right on this one. We're okay. We're okay right now. Nothing wrong with this. So here it is. I think it's fitting. It's about a week late for our show.
There she is.
Hey.
She is. There she is. Lady.
Wow.
Black Series Ahsoka.
Clone One Ahsoka too. That's awesome.
She looks good, and it's got the mural. Which is fantastic.
Nice. That's so sick, y'all.
And I've got 3 others over there, which my buddy Andy helped me with one, I believe, and then there's 2 others that just showed up, and I didn't ask for them. At this point, Entertainment Earth and Walmart just send me stuff that I have to put up. So good on that. So that leads me to our final topic before we leave, and it's something I talked with Andy about.
One more thing.
I know, just one more thing. And I hope our good friend, he is still here. He said beautiful. Shabby's here. I've had a change of heart. And this, I think, we could call this a collector tip. We could call this just a collector quip or a collector shit. I at one point was like, all right, I'm blitzing out the Black Series. And then over this, I'm like, I'm done with them. I'm going to change my focus. I'm going to go for this. I'm going to sell this and I'm going to sell that. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then I'm going to go to another type of product or another collecting item, which was at the time Hot Toys, and it still is. I just really like Black Series. And I talked to Andy, and Andy, you're at fault for this, mister. As I talked to you, and you made the comment, which was so true, because I'd already said it in my head. You're just like, so you're gonna sell 3 or 4 of your Black Series? Because I'm like, well, I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna keep that one too. Well, I won't get rid of the orange or the blue line. And then it just came down to where I'd basically be selling the most worthless part of the collection,
Constable's Weevo.
Yeah, exactly. which would just ultimately become me just gutting my collection from the inside out from a number perspective, from a Dewey Decimal perspective. I would just be nixing my collection for no monetary gain, as in to buy other stuff for no quantifiable gain. I mean, I'll get 5, 10, 20 bucks out of these or those, but it wouldn't buy me my ultimate next collection. And look, I'm already there. And then I watched Shabby's video today, which was amazing. I'm not going to plug it too hard. That's go find Shabby Geek on what's his handle? At Shabby Geek, right?
Great follow.
M Shabby Geek.
Shabby Geek. That's what I was missing.
He's a positive person to my feed.
He's the best positive person. So Mark, I'm back. I'm a Black Series buddy again. I'm going to fill in the blanks on my collection. I'm going to help you fill in the blanks on your collection. And look, I'm going to finish the Dewey Decimal System, and then I'm going back to this. Now I'm reloading for this mural system. It's on. I'm back, baby. A full Black Series back. I'm back series.
There he is.
Boba's back. Josh is back on Black Series. How dare you blame me for that?
I don't blame you. I thank you. I thank you. Okay. I thank our friend. I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my wallet. Thank you so much for bringing me back to the Black Series.
That is a great place to end for us. Josh, you can get our exit song lined up and ready because
you're telling me how to produce right now?
Oh yeah, you get this ready, baby.
All right.
Because with all that's happened, if we have learned anything in the Mandalorian and Mando Mondays over the last 7 weeks, is that anything is possible. We're bringing back people sometimes from the dead in these stories, and this is what we're all about, speculating about our favorite characters of all time. Scotty J, thank you so much for joining us today.
Honor.
Chat, thanks for hanging with us. You guys are awesome as usual. When this video is done, those that are still here with us, refresh, like, and leave a comment. What have you liked best? What was your favorite Easter egg? Leave a comment, whatever you want. I don't even
make fun of my jokes.
Make fun of my jokes.
So bad.
Leave a comment.
They're terrible.
And
make better jokes.
And I'm happy to say, with renewed fervor, Mace lives.
I'm doing it.
Mace lives.
Here we go.
This party's over.
What you say, Mace?
Take a seat. For your own good, stay out of this.
Yeah, Mace. Mace talking big.
If what you told me is true, you have gained my trust.
Mace, trust us.